All right. Good morning, everybody. We're holding Daf Chof Aleph Amud Aleph. 8 lines from the top, I think. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 lines from the top. Elotaimo de mate kro ledom.
Oh, here we go.
So yesterday we had, if you remember in the chart, we had one of the miyutim min chasecha and not blood. So blood does not require salt. And we have a mute. As the Gemara, Elotaimo de mate kro ledom, holavachi havamino dam liboy melach.
What was this again? Say again?
No problem. I have no problem to chazer if I say it and you don't understand.
That's strike one, mister.
No, okay, so yesterday we had a mute that we were talking about what things require salt and what doesn't require salt. One of the things that the pasuk comes to exclude is blood. Blood does not require salt. The question is, what's the havamina at all? Why do we need a pasuk to require that it doesn't require salt? If you put salt, what's going to happen? Once you introduce salt to it, it's no longer blood. And if it's no longer blood, I can't do zrika with it. I can't do anything with it. It's not blood. Halacha. If you cook blood and then you drink the blood, you're not over on blood because you didn't drink blood. You drank cooked blood. Cooked blood is not blood. It loses its consistency. It's not the same product anymore. Rabbi Yehuda Maziri, and Rabbi Yehuda said in the name of Ziri, the same mandama that we just said, Dam shemelochoi einoi over olav. Blood that you put salt in, that's our sugya. If you salt blood, then it's as if, explains Rashi, it's reteach. Salt has a property of fire, of cooking, of heat. And therefore, once you introduce the salt to the blood, it's as if you cook the blood, and blood that's cooked doesn't have a kapara. You can't bring a kapara with it. So in Mela, you're not over, it's not blood. You don't need a pasuk to say that you shouldn't salt the blood. How are you going to do zrika with blood that has salt? It's not the same blood.
You wouldn't have to cook out the liver, the blood from the liver. You just cook it and eat it.
If what?
Because you cooked it. You're not eating blood.
I wasn't looking. I was turning it off.
If it got to every single spot, I guess. Yeah.
No?
That's what we do. Don't we cook it? That's what we do. You're saying, why is the liver different? It's the blood in the liver. What?
It's blood. It's got to be roasted.
It's not.
We don't pass them like that. We don't pass them like that.
No, who said we don't pass in the reticha? I think we do pass in. It seems from the sugya here, the reticha.
Yeah, that we do pass.
Yeah, that's what it seems like from the sugya. Nobody's mechulek on that. I don't know. I didn't look it up, but that's what it seems like. V'Rav Yehuda Didei Amar, Eivarim shetzloim vehelon ein boim mishum l'reach nichoyach. We learned in Zvachim that one of the things you need to do is have a geshmak, a smell, a reach nichoyach, and once you roast it, you don't have a reach nichoyach. Fine.
What do you mean? That's the
Akupanim. Yeah, but you don't have the smell of the reach nichoyach. In the mizbeach, you need the best to eat. But we're talking about you roast it, then you want to put it on the mizbeach. We're not for eating.
It's already roasted.
You want to put it on the mizbeach.
Such a great smell.
Yeah, it's not what you're supposed to. Exactly. Says the Gemara, Mao the same. Why do I need a pasuk? Mao the same. Mishdabu ma'ashu mitzvah ba'alma. But maybe just give a little sprinkle. The only time that blood really is considered cooking is if you mamish taste it. It ruins the taste. It gives its own flavor. But if you just do like a little, like we do in a moitzi, a little yoytzezayin kind of thing, a sprinkle. So now you mekayim the Torah, what the Torah says, you mekayim this pasuk, and you're not ruining it. It still stays blood. I would think that's what you do. Kamashmal in the pasuk, you don't even sprinkle it. You don't do anything. Gufa Omar Ziri Omar Rabbi Chanina. Dam shebishloi ein oiv olav. He paskin that once you cook blood, you're allowed to drink it. I don't know if you're allowed to drink it, but if you drink it, you're not over. Yosef Rav v'kol ma'lo hoshmaitzo esvi abayo sekasha. Hikba es hadom v'acholoi. If he congealed the blood through fire, he cooked it up and he made it geschmacke jello, like gala. This red.
The Germans have been called blood sausage. It's a very big delicacy in Germany. They eat blood sausage, yeah.
And how do they make it? Do they make it with fire? Hikba.
I have no idea. But
Do they like congeal? All right.
No, very serious.
What blood sausage?
They make a sausage in blood.
People cook.
No,
out of
blood.
People cook a lot with pig's
Blood
blood.
sausage.
Okay, Baruch Hashem, we have that Aveira. Oy shehimchos achelev ugmoi. Or he liquefied chelev and he drank it. So basically he changed the natural, the natural makeup of that food. Avabig chayev. But what does it say? That even if you cook blood, you're chayev. And we just said if you cook blood, you're potter. Lo kasha. Kan shikpa ba'ur, kan shikpa b'chama. Ba'ur, there's a difference between fire and the sun. Ba'ur lo hodar. If you mamish cook it up on the stovetop, it's never going to go back to its original form. So 100% mutter. B'chama hodar. But if it just got heated up by the sun, eventually it's going to go back to blood. So now you're right, it's congealed, but since it's going to go back, you're chayev. We have the concept, once it was pushed off for the avodah, it's pushed off forever. Like we had the mizbeach. If there's a nick in the mizbeach, then the carbon that's about to go up onto the mizbeach, since you can't bring it up at that point, even if you repair the mizbeach, that carbon is gone.
By lavim. We say that by avodos and mitzvahs, but this is a lavim.
No, we're talking about zrika. We're talking about whether or not you can do zrika with this blood.
No, we're talking about whether or not you over a lav if you drink.
Right, but it's the same. It's the same thing. If you can't drink it, if it's not blood, then you can't do zrika. You can't hoil v'itchi itchi. The Gemara proves that you say this concept of hoil v'itchi. Dam shekorish v'acholi mahu. So what's the question here? The question is, he has blood that's congealed. Right now, in its form, you're not over, because it's not blood. So he's asking, though, that in 2 hours from now, it's going to melt and it's going to go back to blood. So maybe he is over if he...
Go back to the way it was before? Can it return
I don't
to
know.
No,
Probably not. I'm saying this
right?
because blood congeals, and we said that you have to mix it, and it's not. But maybe it's not that strong form of hikvah. Whatever hikvah is, the German sausage, you have to boil it up, and once you take it out of the refrigerator, maybe it starts falling apart. Similar to its original form. So he says that if you eat blood that became congealed, you're potter. So why? Because once it left its original form, then we don't care that it's going to go back. So over here also, in our sugya, with the sun, even though it might eventually go back, it should be hoil v'nidcha yidacha, and it should be potter if you eat it. Ishtik. So Rava was quiet. I was thinking I have to do a little research because I do recall a number of places where the Gemara asks a question on Rava and the Gemara says ishtik. So I wonder if something in my head with Rava or it's Taka. Maybe Rava says so many things in Shas, but I don't recall it so much with Abaya. Fine, we'll do a little research. Omar Lei,
You'll ask it, did you?
or I'll go on the computer. I'll go on. I have the program. Barilan. I'll put in ishtik, the word ishtik. See how many times. I remember in Avodah Zarah for sure. There's a sugya with on Shabbos with a shutav with a guy and ishtik, and then they saved him. So, okay. Omar Lei.
It's a good raya.
Yeah, it's a very good raya. But now Abaya, who asked the raya, says, "Oh, you know what? I see that you're quiet. Let me help you out." Omerlei Dilma kan bechatois achitzonius. Maybe we're not even talking about chulin blood. We're talking about dafka blood that goes in Beis Hamikdash. But there's a difference between the chatos that you prepare in the azara chitzonius, which would be chayav if it became hardened, congealed. Kan bechatois apnimiyos. And if we're talking about the blood of a chatos inside the heichal that became hikva, would be potter. Why? Omar. So then Rav says, yeah. At karton, you actually. The Gemara is going to explain. Rav says, you just reminded me something very important. At karton milso. Thank you. Domer Rav Chizda dam shekorish b'chatois achitzonios v'achol chayav. There's a difference. Why? Because the pasuk over there says v'lokach v'nosan. You only have to do an asina. So even if it's congealed, you could do an asina. You could take a hard piece of blood and put it on the mizbeach. That's not a problem. Omer Achmana. V'hai ba'li kichun asinu. Even though it's congealed, it's the kichun asina. However, b'chatois hapnimiyos v'acholei potur. Why? V'tova v'hiza marachmon. You have to do hazah. You cannot do hazah with hardened blood. Memela is a big difference between a chatas pnimi and a chatas chitzoina. This brayso, this that you said hoyel v'nitcha yitcha, is talking about chatas hapnimi that you can't do with congealed blood. So memela you potter. But if you could do congealed blood with the chatas chitzoina, I'm sorry, chatas chitzoina that you need v'hiza, so you cannot do with congealed blood. Yes, thank you. Pnimi, you need v'hiza. So therefore, congealed is no good. Congealed is no good. You eat it, you potter. B'chatzos, b'chitzoina, that you don't need congealed, that you don't need v'hiza, you do v'nasan. So congealed is good, and memel you'd be chayiv.
When we say hol v'itcha, just here it's not nitcha because you could do it.
Exactly. Rava, who's so excited to remember this, he himself holds, there's no difference between pnimi and chitzoni. Why? Once you see the concept that this blood is no good, because vihiza, you need vihiza, so, and by chitzonis, you see the concept that hikpa, if it becomes congealed, it's no good. So,
By the chitzonis it is good.
Hoyolu connect the Rebbe Chatois Chitzonios. Chitzonios.
That's why she
Chayav.
That's why she
So all blood in this form will be chayav.
What is it to do with the pasuk? V'nosan v'lochka or v'nosan v'hiza?
I don't know that the pasuk is extra. You see the concept of Venisino.
No, but not only that, it's pnimis, you have to do it tefillah and a zrika.
That's boy.
Congealed, you can't do it.
Right. Okay. You're saying it's because of that boy part, not because of the hiza part. V'toval it's boy, and not because of the. Okay.
Well, it goes both together. Same thing. If you can't do the
Omer Papa. Hilkoch. So Papa comes along with the chiddush. Since we said there's no difference between dam chitzoin and dam pnimi, once you see the halacha by chitzoin, it applies to all the bloods. Hilkoch dam chamor, a dam chamor which is anyways asur, shikorash va'acholoi chayov. There's no difference in dam chamor, a tamei animal's blood that's asur. There's no difference in congealed and not congealed because there's no difference between chitzoin and pnimi. All bloods are chayiv. Memela even a tamei animal, which is anyway chayiv, don't make enough community between congealed and not congealed. Hoy, look at the roy b'chatois chitzonios.
So what happens now with the bishla? That's out also?
Oh, so there's actually a discussion here if it's out or not out. It seems like you think just because Rabbi Sai. By the way, since there's more of oil here, I do want to say a tremendous hakar zatoif to Avi. We asked him to bring some coffee from America. He's mags him a little bit. He brought literally 30 pounds of coffee, of expensive stuff, and he paid for it. I offered no. He bought it and the whole.
No, he was having to the nap 6 times the sodas.
Oh, 6 times size is 30. Very good. Shkoyach, on the spot. You saw that? It's quick. I'm not used to you sitting over there. What's going on? Yeah. The what?
Are we talking about the issue of eating blood?
Why is dam chamor
using
like the way the chatas says? Why is dam
That's the same
chamor
thing.
always
It's hainuhach.
So what's the,
If it's not royal achilo, then it's not royal izrika. It's the same, one of the same. If it's not blood, it's not blood.
what's happening if it's congealed that dam nefesh is now suddenly gone?
Why? What does that have to do with dam nefesh? It doesn't have to do with dam nefesh. It has to do with changing the way the blood is, by changing the form of the blood. It's not dam nefesh in out. That I don't understand. That's couple.
If it's uncongealed afterwards and you still can't,
No, so that's the sugi of hoyel v'yitchi. Once it becomes pushed off from blood, even though it goes back to its original form, you try to reintroduce it. You can't reintroduce something that left. Once it goes, it never comes back. Omer of Gidel, another halacha. Omer of Gidel, Omer Zeiri, in the name of Zeiri, same Zeiri. Dam, bein lach, bein yovesh choitzitz. So if you go into the mikvah with blood on your finger, it's chatzitza. Meisvei. Or we had, let's say, I don't know, maybe it has to do with also the kli, holding the kli. So you're not really holding the kli if it's, because if you have blood on your feet, so it could be also tefillah. Okay. Meisvei, hadom v'hadyoi v'hadvash v'hacholov yeveshim choytzitzim, lachin einon choytzitzin. So we have a kasha here. It says mefurish lach, Ziri says lach. If it's liquid, it's still not hard, it's still a chatzitza. Over here it says mefurish in the Braisa that it's lach is not a chatzitza. Loi kashi. Ha de sarich. Ha de loi sarich. There's a difference between being sticky and not sticky. If the blood is sticky, that's one pshat in Rashi, then it's considered yavesh, and memela it's chayitzitz. When it's not sticky, then it's not. Now Rashi says another pshat. Rashi says that if you touch the blood and a string comes out of it, you know how like when it starts getting sticky string, that's a siman that it's starting to get sticky. I want to point out a very interesting ha'ara here, not ha'ara, but like how it worked with the printers in those days. And when people saw things, they printed. Rabbi Schoenberg, you'd love this. If you look in Rashi, Dibra Maskil Sorich, so Rashi says, Shematchil is yabesh l'dovek tzas choytzitz. Next Rashi, Loi Sorich, kishet by etzba nimshach v'hoylech chut mimenu. Now, it says Loi Sorich, but in our Gemara it says Di Loi Sorich. What's going on here is as follows. It doesn't say Loi Sorich, it says Lamed Aleph and apostrophes. It's a Rosh Tevis of Loshen Acher. A second shot in Sorich is that it has a string. The printer thought that he made a mistake because the Gemara says Di Loi Sorich, so he thought Rashi is talking about Di Loi Sorich. But the pshat in Rashi is going on Sorich. Two pshatim in Sorich, not in Loi Sorich. What does Sorich mean? Either it's sticky or there's a string. So he went and took out the apostrophes and made it Loi Sorich, but it's a completely different word. It's Loshen Acher Sorich. It's a very simple thing, but it's cute to see how they...
You hear that? Something for him to do.
Yeah.
All the mistakes.
Didn't have?
And he had these following. The headings were following that correction.
Ah.
The original Rashi had this partial text.
It's not bold. We have words like that still. That's a big deal.
But he's saying it wasn't even Dibur Maskil. He's saying there's not even a Dibur Maskil. The Dibur Maskil was inserted later on.
No, they were inserted. They were part of the text of Rashi.
It must have been, otherwise the whole thing.
So that afterwards they didn't know what was supposed to be.
I hear.
I
Okay.
don't like
10 minutes.
like cappuccino.
Says the Gemara. It says Bamelach Timloch. It says in the pasuk Bamelach Timloch. You can't sit there anymore, Avi. This guy's going crazy. You can't believe this. You go back to your speech, sir. It's all your fault.
Rebbe, you can continue. Let's go.
I'm trying to. I'm trying to enter. Bamelach Timloch. We have in the pasuk a double lashon of Bamelach Timloch. What does the Timloch come to tell us? Lamai also. Look at this Hanya. Bamelach Yochol Tevoinehu. Tevoinehu is a lashon of a lot l'chayra. Maybe I should mamish a lot of salt. A lot of salt. Maybe I should dunk it in and let it sit there for a couple of days. Talmud lo yimar Timloch. Nah, put some salt on. Eat Timloch Yochol b'mei melach. Maybe I could just use salt water from the ocean. Talmud lo yimar b'melach. It has to be in the salt, not in the salt water. V'lo tashbis melach. What does that mean in the pasuk tashbis? Hovei melach she'eno sheveses. Interesting. You have to have salt that works all week long, even on Shabbos. Ve'ezazoi melach's doimes. How do you get melach's doimes from the ocean? The waves go on the shore, and then the water comes back, it evaporates, and it leaves the salt on the shore. But that does it. It does it every day of the week. La fuke. The next line. Uminayin shemloimotzo melach's doimes shemevi melach istrei koines. Istrei koines is thicker salt. So how do I know if I don't have melach's doimes? I can use this thicker salt. Where does this thicker salt come from? You mine it from the ground. So it's not available every day of the week. You don't mine it every day of the week. Some people say pshat because the miners can't work on Shabbos.
Rashi doesn't say that.
How come?
Right. That's another. There's actually, it could be it's Moisef Rashi. Look at Moisef Rashi for a second. What?
She doesn't say anything about Shabbos.
It is. It's from the Yamamelach. Yamamelach from this is done. Right. I don't know if it's not every ocean because we already went through
you
this.
were saying any ocean washes salt on the beach. So any ocean.
It could be. It just means finer salt. It doesn't mean that you're not allowed
There's a
to.
difference between salt from
So-
from the
from the- from,
Atlantic
yeah.
and salt from the milk.
Okay, but we're seeing here that you can use different types of salt.
Rashi doesn't say anything about Shavas and Salt together. It says Mitzvah.
Right. Look at Moisav Rashi. I think it was in Moisav Rashi, but I saw it in some of the Rishonim.
Still today.
Is it in the Moisav Rashi? You see it there? No.
It's Rabbeinu Hillel.
Rabbeinu Hill. Okay.
Still today we have two types of salt. There's sea salt
Yeah.
and there's table salt.
Where does table salt come from?
Table salt is mine.
It's mind.
Yeah.
Really?
So
Learning new things every day.
Because we see the opposite. Table salt is fine.
Ocean salt is
So the thing is that I still remember for Pesach,
Yeah.
before we could get kosher Pesach salt, we used to buy these blocks of salt. So that was when they mined the salt.
What? Some people are makbid on chametz and salt. There might be chametz in there.
Yeah,
Block and then grind it?
It came with
So we
block
used
of
to
ice
grind-
for the
we used to
ice.
grind-
This is in England.
We used to grind the salt ourselves.
And get a block of what? So this was mined salt. Mined.
We used to buy a block of salt.
Yeah,
which is
and mine-
mined salt. So how does the mined salt work? They pump down water into the ground, which dissolves the salt in the ground, and then they pump it up again through another pipe, right? So, and then it's solidified in blocks. Now that can be very coarse, but so for table salt they grind it down very fine. But sea salt is natural. So-
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. When you asked the question, I figured it's something to do with the process in the factory. They grind it. Okay.
And that's what you were saying before. It's a whole process.
Yeah.
It's a whole process. That's not always there.
It's not every day.
But according to Rashi, there's a kinds of cleric.
Stop working.
Because mining, you don't mine in the chayr if it's too cold to get down there. Or it's too much water, it's dangerous in the caves, you know. I don't know. Exactly.
Then they don't do it.
Istrakoinis. Tamaloimar takriv. I could use istrakoinis because of takriv. Takriv kol shuhu. Takriv mikol mokoim. Even salt from chutz la'aretz. Takriv va'afilu b'Shabbos. I'm allowed to salt even on Shabbos in a korban tzibur is doicha Shabbos. The question here is that they ask is why would I think b'chlal that you're not allowed to salt on Shabbos? The only time you're not allowed to salt is hides. To tan a hide on Shabbos, the oil you're not allowed to do on Shabbos. That's the only. But I would have I'm not allowed to put salt in my soup. So they say the pshat is there's a bunch of pshatim here. One of the pshatim is that if it's not achila, so then now you're left with a malacha, or what? Not boyer. It's like tanning a hide. You're not. Or the Maram in Rothenburg says that I would be chayiv on cooking the salt since it's not part of the food. I'm allowed to cook this carbon, but I'm not allowed to cook the salt that's on it. If it's not part of the carbon, I'm over. Kids, there's different pirushim. What the havamina would be here.
One of the reasons that you can put salt on food today is because they use hot water to come down into the ground. So when it comes up, it's really cooked.
Oh, you're talking about bishul. We're talking about the isser of melicha of kind of cooking the food. Just like you're not allowed to put salt on your hide because you're of the hide. Yeah, what?
Bishop putting it on the mizbech.
Right.
It's not part of it.
That's the Maram Rothenburg. Yeah, fine. But that salt is from Zdaimis, which comes off the ocean. You don't have that pshat that it's cooked already. So the Gemara.
That's something that's cooked already.
Well, what?
Putting salt on something that's cooked already.
No, you're putting it on the carbon beforehand. Oh, on Shabbos. Yeah, but what about the salt itself?
That's what he's saying.
Oh, you're saying you're not cooking the food because you put the salt, it's already cooked. And then there's another problem of cooking the salt itself. The Maram Rothenburg, fine. That's again in the Beis Hamikdash. You're allowed to do it betuma. Mai tevoinehu. What do you mean all the way in the beginning of the sugi? Yochel tevoinehu, and we said the pshat is a lot of salt. You should do a lot of salt, like you put. It comes from lashon of teven, and just like you put a lot of teven in cement, so you put a lot of salt on this meat. If it's coming from a lashon of teven, it should be not tevoineu but yizboinenu. It comes from a lashon of binyan. Which means I should pile it up, different floors, different stories, do different levels. First you pour on once, then you do another level. Build a nice building. What's tivoinenu? Yivnenu. Elamar Rava yochel tivuneu. Doesn't Mamish explain. He changes the lashon around a little bit. Instead of tivuneu, he says tivuneu. Okay, but what's the my tivuneu? Amar Ravashi yochel yitim boy tam kibina. Tamaloi mar timlach. So this is actually two pshatim, and the two opposite pshatim. One pshat in bina means all you need is a little bit of seichel to open up your head and understand. The other pshat is the opposite. You need a lot of brains. Talmud mar timlach. You don't need to do that much. You do a little bit, or the opposite. You don't need to do that little. You need to do more. Fine. Ketzu oisa. How do you do melicha? Maybe oiver v'noisen olav melach. You put melach on one side. V'choyz v'hoyv choy v'noisen olav melach u'ma'aleyu. Omar Abaye v'chein l'gdeira. This is halach l'maisa, I think. In our days, how do you do melicha in the shlachtos? I was there, I know.
How much? Doesn't say how much. How much you have to put on? Just a good shake?
That's the whole point. You do a good shake and you flip it over, do a good shake, but you don't have to sit there and make sure it sits in the melicha process for many hours. Rabbi Shomer, right? How does it work?
The timing, everything, the quantity has to be covered.
You're covered. And they flip it over, they have a machine. If it's a big piece of meat, they have machines that literally, the guy just throws the salt on. No. They're not that advanced yet. Tana Rabbanon. Melach shal gabe yoiver mo'elim boy. Oh. Mo'elim boy means, we always have in Shas, Me'ila means you're oiver a Me'ila. Mo'elim boy doesn't mean you have permission to do Me'ila, that if you do Me'ila, you're oiver. So, if you have salt that's on the animal already, and you use the salt by mistake, you have to pay back the salt that you used plus 20%. It was on purpose, you get malchus and pay back the salt. Shalgabi kevesh sheberoish mizbeach ein mo'elim boy. So if we're going to see soon that there was a pile of salt on the ramp and there's a pile of salt on the mizbeach, and if you use that salt, you're not over amila. Says Rashi, ein mo'elim boy, the shuv einoi roi. What does Rashi say here? If you read the simple Pshat in Rashi, the shuv, what does shuv mean? You no longer are oiver, meaning that you started out being oiver. The melach was kadosh, roi, it was mila. Now, since it fell on the floor, you're sprinkling salt on the animal and fell on the floor, shuv any roi, and therefore there's no meila. Some people say no.
Not that there was me'ila. It was roi to be used for the korban. Now it's not roi to be used anymore.
So how are you learning that the salt, the pile of salt, you have meila or you don't have meila on it?
Just salt alone?
No, salt on the mizbeach, on the kevesh. Nah, you're learning no. Okay, so you're mechaven to the briskerot. A lot of people want to learn in Rashi the shuv and roi, that it came out of its kedusha. It was roi, now it's shuv and roi.
Once it's carried out its function, the minute it touches the meat,
Right.
it's already done its job, and it pulls off. It's now.
But some people bring it right to what Noam is saying from the Hemshech. Let's see in a second. It says, Omer of Masna, Micro, where do I see in the pasuk that if it touches the animal, still in the animal, it's Me'ila. It's still Kaddish. They put melach on the animal. They put the animal and the melach. Oila Hashem, that both of them are considered a oila. Even the salt is considered a oila when you put it on the mizbeach, and therefore, if you use it, you're oivar me'ila. So the question is, why do I need a pasuk? If the melach was kaddish beforehand, and I put it on my animal, where did the kedusha go? How did it get it out? It has to be that it never was kaddish, and just by putting it on the animal, it became kaddish. And if it fell on the floor, it never became kaddish. That salt, you can still. That's how some people. That's the brisker rope. Right. That's how I learned. Not like Rabbi Shomer. I don't want to say anything, but yeah, I learned that it fell on the floor. Because if it fell, okay, where did the kedusha go once it was on the animal? Not awesome. It says over there, so Rashi says that there's 7 things that the Bezdin said that the Kohanim could use. 2 of them were, Ala melach velo eitzim shiu Kohanim neyosim behem. Bezdin made a t'nai that the melach can be used by the Kohanim in the Beis HaMikdash. Omer Shmuel, lo yishanu elo lekorbanim. Wait a minute. They made an exception to the rule for their korban. What does that mean? There's going to be a sugya now. Aval achila, what does that mean? Loi. They can use it for a korban, but not for their own personal achila. Chasok died, and the pashup pshat was Ma'ila korbanim lemloyach korbanim. In order to do the melicha for the korban, la'achilas kadashim. Now, if you remember yesterday, he's not here. Mr. Kornbluth asked me a shaila, and unfortunately, I didn't know this daf Gemara. It was only one page further. But here's the whole sugya. Hashta, I should have said the typical Daf Yomi answer. Yeah, we're gonna soon. We're gonna get there. I didn't use it on him, unfortunately. Now, as the Gemara, the hides of Kodesh Kadashim. You bring a chatos, the hide goes to the kohen. What does it turn into? Chulin. They could tan all their hides in the lishka over there, in the salt lishka, and there's no problem. They're allowed to use the salt. All of a sudden, we're not going to let him salt a steak, which has a lot more kedusha than hide. Doesn't make any sense. The Tanya there's 3 places that they put the salt. There was a special, whoever came to the movie in Zvachim, in my house, they showed. There was a whole room for salt. And they were tanning hides over there. And
That's the room with the bundles.
that's from last night, whoever wasn't there. And up the ramp, there was a pile of salt somewhere. The lishkas hamelach, what do they do in the lishka of the salt? Shesham bolchim oiris kadashim. So you see that the kohanim used to use salt to tan their hides. Al gabe hakevesh shesham bolchim isayvarim. You go up with the ivarim, you do emurim, ivarim, they go on the mizbeach, you salt them. But Rosh Hashanah mizbeach, what do you do with the salt on top of the mizbeach? Shesham bolchim hakoymetz v'halavoyin v'aktoiris. Now peek in Tosis for a second. Dibra maskav v'aktoiris v'imtoimar. Lama mochim zaktoris b'rosh mizbeach yosim al hakevesh. V'alei b'mizbeach ha'panimi ha'karev. What's the Ketores doing here? The Ketores goes in the other Mizbeach, in the Heichal called, actually it's one of the names is Mizbeach HaKetores. So why do you need to go, and even if you want salt, why do you have to go all the way to the top? Just stop in the middle on the ramp. Says Toiz v'shloima lefi shal hakevesh ho'imislach l'bedome evarim. The Kitzer, it wasn't good, it was too dirty, that's where all the evarim are. You go to the top, that's where you do the Menachos, you do all the nice, clean stuff up there, grab some salt and then come back to, says the Gemara weiter, u'minchas kohanim u'minchas kohen Mashiach. U'minchas nesachim bo'elas ha'oif. Tosis actually points out, what about the elas ha'oif? There's a lot of blood up there from the bird. Okay, it's not that many birds. We're not worried. It's not that much blood. But on the kevesh oiv avoy, he probably puts it down on the kevesh and it gets bloody, and then he starts spraying. You can't use it. You can't do both hands because it's a mess. Zog the Gemara, Elo. So nupshat. So again, Shmuel said on the carbon they can use salt. L'achila they can't use salt. We said it doesn't make sense the way we understood. So nupshad in karbanim. Elamai karbanim lachilas karbanim. It's not talking about before he puts the carbon on the mizbeach. It's talking about afterwards, his steak. In order to spice up a steak, he's allowed to use the salt for that. Because if he's allowed to use the salt for hides, certainly to spice up a steak. Umay lachila. And what did the Shmuel mean that he's not allowed to use it for eating? If that you already said he's allowed to use it for steaks, achila de chulin. He's not allowed to bring it home. He's not, or he brought a sandwich. A gishmak sandwich, he's not allowed to salt it with the salt of the Beis Hamikdash. Fred the Gemara, chulin, pshita, my bohasam. How are you allowed to bring chulin into Azara? Rashi holds that you're not allowed to bring chulin into Azara. Tosis says, what are you talking about? You're allowed to bring, and this is a big yesod, we have to remember this. Tosis says, and I don't think Rashi argues with this. You're allowed to bring chulin into Azara if you're not going to be makriv it. You're not allowed to bring chulin to be makriv chulin. I can't bring in a tuna fish sandwich to put it on the mizbeach, but if I just brought it for my own personal use, I'm allowed to, says Tosfos. So you have to understand Rashi.
You can't be talking about taking the salt out.
Right, we're not talking about home, we're talking about here.
10 minutes.
Oh, now it's really 10 minutes. Says the Gemara, so my boy, so what's my bohasam? What's the chulin doing inside the Azar? Says the Gemara, this is halacha. Look how many halachas we're learning here. Unbelievable. This is halacha that when the kohen eats kachim, he has to eat it with a full stomach. The proper way that a king eats, he eats it full. He doesn't eat when he's hungry. So in Mela, if he's not full, it's a derech kavod to eat like that. So if he's not hungry, he should go home, stuff himself with chulin and truma, and then later eat kachim. So I would have a havamina that the chulin that he's eating is litzoyrech kachim. It's a hagdama to the kachim he's eating. I mean, I can use the salt for it. Komash malon filachi mel yajim lo yavinelu. What?
It's a first prize.
First spice, exactly.
Or spice.
But
Where's Levi? He stole your line, Levi. He said first spice. He says first spice. That's not bad. So we don't give him.
All the kachim and all the menachos.
Oh, zog the Gemara Malay Ravina Lervash Yochanan Mistabro, and it makes sense. The Solka Daidach Maili Karbonim Lim Loyach. If you're going to tell me that the pshat was the original pshat, that you're not allowed to salt even the carbon, time it asni bezdin. I need bezdin to allow me, the kohen to use the salt. Holy asni bezdin, loy. He wouldn't be allowed to. In fact, the Gemara doesn't make sense again. Actually, Lisrael Yavinon, look at Yavinon, and that's the answer to Mr. Kornbluth's shaila. Where does he get the salt? The Beis HaMikdash provides salt. The Beis HaMikdash provides certain things.
And they give it
the
to Adam also.
Yes, l'chayra. The Sanya Yachaloi Ma'ari Alei Mincha Yavi Melech Mitoich Beisoi. That's mamish what he's asking. Maybe he should bring the salt from his house. Kader maybe levoina mitoich beisoi. Levoina he does bring from his house. V'dinu nemar havei mincha v'havei melach. It says both. You should bring. You should bring salt. You should bring a mincha. V'nemar havei mincha v'havei levoina. Now I can compare ma levoina mitoich beisoi. Af melach mitoich beisoi. How do I know that salt comes from his house? Says Rashi mitoich beisoi. D'chsiv v'nosan alei levoina v'hadar v'hevi al b'nei Aaron. You see that at first he brought the levaina, and then afterwards he goes to Aaron, to the kohen. Meaning the levaina comes from his house. What?
That's a havami.
No, the levaina comes from his house.
Yeah, but the melach.
The melach. Nema have mincha v'have melach, v'nema have mincha v'have eitzim. Ma'eitzim mishel tzibur, af melach mishel tzibur. Right? Who provides the wood? You don't have to come with a pile of wood. Beis HaMikdash provides you.
That's not kodesh from your house. How come?
Well, what? It is. What about the silas? You bring silas, you bring silas. You bring the ingredients. You bring the ingredients. Says the Gemara, I can compare salt to mincha, to levaina, I can compare it to wood. Which one do I compare it to? Nearly midoima. Who is it more similar to? Dan and davar hanoyeg b'chol hatzvachim. Melach is something that you use in every single carbon. Midavar hanoyeg b'chol hatzvachim. To wood, that you also use in every single carbon. However, levaina is specific to mincha. Or maybe I can learn differently. So what if it comes in one kli? It comes in one kli, it's mamish the same, it's one of the same, it's the same carbon. So levaina is like a mincha. It is. It makes more sense to learn from levaina. It happens to be there. You put the mincha on top of a piece of wood, but it's not one of the same.
What's coming in the same plate?
The levaina and the mincha. Yeah.
So therefore, you should learn from levaina.
Yeah.
Yes, that you have to bring it from your home.
Yeah. Just like levaina is part of the mincha, and you bring it from the house. So melech also is part of the mincha. Melech also, you put on the mincha, becomes part of the mincha.
Because it goes into the same plate again, because that's the same svara?
It is, yeah, it's one of the same. What do you do? The salt is the mincha. It goes into the mincha. It's an ingredient of the mincha. Whereas the wood is not an ingredient of the mincha. It's there to burn, but they're not connected in any physical way. I mean, physically, yes, but not svardik. Says the Gemara, Bris melach oil. What's when you have one word in one pasuk and another word in another pasuk? What is that called? Gzeir shava. We have gzeir shava. Tam loim gzeir shava. Bris melach oilam hu. La'alon oimer me'ez b'nei Yisrael bris oilam. Ma la'alon mishel tzibur. Afkan mishel tzibur. So Mamela what? We lost a little bit. We lost cheshbon. What's going on here? The Gemara is proving that for a carbon, a Yisrael could use it. If a Yisrael could use the melach, certainly a kohen could use melach. That's what we wanted to come to tell us, right? It's a kavachomer. If you let a Yisrael use it, why can't a kohen who has more kedusha himself? He hangs out in the Beis HaMikdash all day. You shouldn't be able to use it. No, there's a reason for me to say that kohen cannot use melach and Yisrael could use melach. Why? Because there's a ben bukhri, man the Omar called ben bukhri, the Snan. Omar Rav Yehuda, hey ben bukhri b'yavna, kol koyin sheshoikel enochoyta. A koyin that brings a machzas shekel, he's over an avera. Omar Rav Yochanan ben Zakkai loy. You're making a mistake. Loyki. Ela kol koyin she'enishoikel choyta. It's not true. El she'kohanim dorshem mikra zelatim. Unbelievable. The kohanim had a beautiful drasha that's wrong. It says in the pasuk, "V'chol minchas kohen kolil tia loisei ochel." It says in the pasuk that a mincha that a kohen brings, he cannot eat. Meaning, If a kohen brings a mincha, it's 100% Mr. Kohen's, he cannot eat it. What if he's a partner in it, 1% partner? Also he can't eat it, and nobody should be able to eat it. You should put it on the mizbeach. So the taina, what about a omer? Minchas omer that comes from our money, from Yisrael's money and the kohen's money, so the shutfim, so nobody should be able to eat it, and the halacha is that the kohanim eat it. If it's owned by a kohen, they can't eat it. So if I donated money towards that omer, I'm a shutf in it, so nobody should be able to eat it. Now the Gemara goes on a little tangent here, before we get back to the pshat. Since he's not mechuyev to bring a machzah shekel, how could he stick this? How could he bring this money into the Beis Hamikdash? The Minchas Chinuch, but he's magdish it. He's magdish it. So he says a chap. He's only magdish it because he thought that he has to bring a machzah shekel. But if Ben Bukhari holds it, he doesn't bring a machzah shekel, so he brought it. He's magdish betos. Kedusha betos is not kaddish. So he says the Gemara, the Maisi u'masalayin l'tzibur. Okay, fine. So the kohen didn't give it to machzah shekel; he gave it towards the tzibur. Akopanim. What's the raya from Ben Bukhari? Again, we ask the question: if Yisrael could use salt, so certainly a kohen. No, Ben Bukhari holds that maybe a kohen should not be able to use the salt. Why? So could that chamino? Who could use the salt? L'Yisrael, this lulishka. The Yisrael who donated money, the machzah shekel, towards all these things, the salt, the wood, and all that stuff, they could use it. Looking at it, the les lulishka, they didn't donate anything towards it. L'Yizaku Rachmana, Kamash Malan. Even though they had nothing to do with it, they didn't donate towards it. They could still use the salt. Agudim Shabbos, Motzei Shabbos, 9:15. There will be an announcement where exactly we're going to be learning Sunday and Monday. We might be learning in this room. I just got a message this morning that it might go back. We might be able to use this room. At any rate, I set up the room downstairs in the basement. It's set up beautifully with 20 chairs. Hopefully, we don't have 20 people. And Agudim Shabbos. And